Welcome to the show. Rolly actually made it. The technician is with us from Windsor. We got the ref up in Barrie, Brian. We got the commissioner in Detroit, and myself. We got me, Guido, the host, the moderator. Although I think I might need to be moderated.
The video judge.
It's not the ref. I would like that job. Wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you like to be the video goal judge for the NHL?
Yeah.
I'd have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wouldn't be as bad as the ones that they have now, or as biased. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I hear the Habs have a video replay judge in their targets as their first pick in the draft next year.
You know what? They might trade for the one the Leafs have. So, you know, I hear that goal judge has got a really good record for them. So anyways, you know what? We'll get to that. We're going to talk Leafs and the magic goal last night. But before we do that, we've been sending texts back and forth about what's going on right now, a little bit more serious, right? In Russia and their invasion of Ukraine, but what that means in terms of sports and the different leagues. So I think it all started, we all kind of thought, well, what are they going to do, right? Are the leagues going to start banning Russia from these things? And then who was it first? What was the first team? Was it Poland? I think Poland said, we're not playing them. We're not playing Russia for the World Cup qualifying, followed by Sweden, followed by Czechoslovakia. And then eventually FIFA comes around and says, yeah, we're going to ban Russia from participating in the World Cup. Why did it take so long?
I don't know. But Formula One kicked in too. They were one of the first ones that basically took a race away from Russia almost right away when it happened.
Yeah, they said the September 25th one in Sochi is canceled. They're not going there.
Yeah, and then hockey came after, and International Ice Hockey Federation saying they're pulling the junior championships out of Russia, and I think, you know, Gretzky to his credit made some comments on TNT and said, you know, let's not invite him to the juniors, and they came through with that fairly quickly, and it's been a snowball. Once it started, it's been a bit of
IIHF banned Russia and Belarus indefinitely from all competition. And I saw the piece. I don't remember where I saw it, but I know Gretzky kind of came out and said, "Hey, like something should be happening here," sort of thing.
Yeah, he was on TNT. It was during the middle, or I think on the intermission of one of the games.
Did he say anything about the players in the NHL?
I'm not sure if he did. I saw something recently from the NHL though about that, saying, you know, they're concerned for the well-being of the Russian NHL players. And you know what? For some of them, I totally agree. I think the guy that's taken a bit of a rap right now is Ovi, because he kind of straddled the fence and cooked his own goose by not condemning what Putin did. So can't have it both ways. You know, he's on record as being a big supporter in that, and now he's trying to backpedal a bit. But
yeah, he might not know how to deal with it. Maybe there's not people around him to direct him. I think he's having a hard time dealing with that. He has family back there too. And just before we came on, I read that CCM has dropped all the Russian players.
Yeah, I just saw that too, Roland.
Yeah, and I guess Ovechkin was making good money with them, like over $500,000 a year, just in advertising and marketing, plus $500,000 plus. So that kind of surprises me, but I don't know. I don't know how you can blame the players for what's going on there right now.
And even, I mean, Ovechkin is perhaps a different case because of his support of Putin in the past. But and any other players, I think it's really hard to look at it and say, well, they should be speaking out. They've all got families back there. And what is this regime willing to do if you're a Russian player in the United States or Canada speaking out against what they're doing there and your family is back in Russia? It is really easy for us to say, and us is not just the four of us, it's a large group of people over here saying, oh, well, they should be condemning this. It's real easy to say that when we don't have anything on the line and they do. And they can believe it's wrong all they want. And if they say so, bad things can happen to them or their families.
But Ovechkin,
it is a bad position for them to be in. And Guido, you were about to say Ovechkin. Yeah, he's been a supporter of Putin before, and he's been that publicly at least. Yeah. We don't know. That may be a paid gig essentially. That may be, hey, you'd better support us, or something's going to happen here. And so he comes out and it's easy for him to come out and say, yeah, go Putin when things are good. And now he's got to walk it back.
I want to read.
It's easier for us to say this than it is say any of this than it is for them to say anything.
I want to read something. Jack Todd from the Montreal Gazette did an article, and it's in the article. It says, "It's simply not true that Ovechkin can't do anything. This is a defining moment in many lives, Ovechkin's included. One day he will be remembered as much for his actions now as for the goals he has scored. Don't underestimate the courage it takes. Putin has people killed. But if it was easy, it would not be courageous. Ukraine needs more from Ovechkin. Putin has made a terrible miscalculation here, a murderous blunder that should end his reign. Ovechkin needs to lend his considerable strength to toppling the tyrant from his pedestal before it's too late."
So those are nice words, and those are nice words, and I want to agree with them. But does Ovechkin speaking out now really topple Putin? Does it really end the invasion? Does it really do anything other than put Ovechkin's family in danger?
Well, let me ask this. Dominik Hasek spoke out. Dominik Hasek said, "Hey, you know what? This is wrong. Putin is a mad killer." Panarin, I think
Dominik Hasek said that from the Czech Republic, where he's safe, and
Panarin spoke out.
And Panarin's had trouble before.
Yeah,
I don't look. I get the individual player thing. So let me. Maybe I don't want to. I can't give Ovechkin a complete pass on it, because if he was willing to support the guy beforehand, something, his family was there before, and all things considered. But where's the NHL in this? Like, they honestly have done nothing other than say, yeah, you know what, it's bad, we feel for what's going on. Like, this is another Gary Bettman.
Guido, what can
I'm doing nothing.
Honestly, if you're I'm going to put you on the spot. You're Gary Bettman. You're the new Gary Bettman. What do you do? Easy to criticize, but if you don't have it, what are they supposed to do?
I get it. You know what? It's the same thing as what I said about the World Cup soccer. Why did it take 3 teams to speak out first? Why isn't the league or the commissioner coming out in front of it and going, you know what? I don't have the answer, but this is wrong, and we're going to be taking a look at it. Don't make these guys do the work for you, because then you are putting Ovechkin in this place.
It's been a week. In some cases, we don't know what all is going to happen.
Should have been immediate.
And
should have been immediate.
And I'm going to say I will not be surprised if Russian and Belarusian teams end up playing in some of the things they've been supposedly kicked out of, because by the time some of these events happened, future tense, there's plenty of time for things to blow over, things to change. Oh, hey, they retreated, so it's okay. Oh, hey, they won. So, well, guess we lost that one. It's been a week. There is a lot that can change by the time some of these events happen, by the time any of these supposed actions actually take effect.
I'm not saying that might not be true, but it shouldn't be true. There's no path when I look at this that any of these leagues should ever walk any of this back. Like it should be a long time, and a lot of things would have to change with Russia before I ever walk any of this back.
Yeah, and that's what we'll see that. We'll see what transpires. The NHL did come out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, with a statement saying that they've cut off all ties with the Russia Hockey Federation till further notice, and the Belarus Association as well.
Yeah,
they shut down their Russian social media sites.
They suspended relationships with Russian business partners following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. They're also discontinuing any consideration of Russia hosting future NHL events.
Yeah.
I think
they have a difficult thing to
broadcast as well. I'm sorry, like even broadcasting games, I think they were broadcasting games back to Russia, and I think they're going to be stopping that. I don't know if that was immediate, but I think they're going to stop that as well.
The biggest challenge for them is with the Russian NHL players. I think that's the biggest challenge they have, because for the most part, most of these players that have been like a guy, even like Ovechkin, I don't like what he said, but Ovechkin, Kucherov, all these guys, for the most part, have been living in the States last number of years, have become more Americanized or North Americanized than they are Russian. Yeah, they have all families and that, but they're making their living here. That's a tough one, and I'm sure there's got to be some levels of tension in dressing rooms and stuff like that too. That this whole thing's caused. Like it's causing strife and stress just in general public and around the world. It's got to be doing that in the sports world as well.
Yeah.
I guess, you know what, I look at some of the individual players, the ones that did speak out, and it's easy to say, hey, you know what, great, it's nice to see them speak out. I just feel bad for them. I don't know if feel bad is the right word. I feel bad for them though, in a way, because I would want my league to do more. I would want my organization to be in front of it, not me to be in front of it. But I don't, the NHL is sometimes like the province of Ontario. They just kind of wait and see what's going on, and then they kind of say, oh yeah, us too, yeah, look, we're gonna say and do this. Whereas like Roland, you mentioned Formula One, they didn't wait. They were out there. It's canceled. Meanwhile, there's this driver, he's a former Formula One driver, Daniil Kvyat, and he said that sports should remain outside of politics, and he decried any banning of Russian athletes. He's a former Formula One driver, from competition. He says it's unfair. After the invasion, he still thinks it's unfair.
So Guido, what current event does the NHL under Gary Bettman have planned with Russia?
That's what I was going to say too.
It's not the event; it's the message, I think. Like,
no, but easy to say. Formula One was out in front of it right away. That's because they had a race that was planned in Russia, and they said we got to make a call, and so they did it. To compare the NHL,
the race isn't until September.
Like, NHL doesn't have any events in Russia
ever.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't have the NHL events in front of me or what they're planning to do with Russia. But
Gary Bettman for not coming out and taking a stand where he doesn't have any vested interest in Russia. NHL doesn't deal with Russia.
And the NHL isn't going to send Stinger missiles to the Ukraine or anything like that. No, there is nothing they can do.
It's just being able to stand in front of it. He's got Russian players in the league. It's being able to get in front of it and taking some accountability, not just for the league, but for those players too. He didn't do that.
I think they did.
I think they were late. I think that they're late, like they're always late.
I think given what their level of investment or vested interest with dealing with Russia is, I don't think so at all. I got to disagree with you on this one.
What do you mean vested interest?
They don't have any dealings. They don't have any events with Russia.
Yeah, but they have a
They
bucket
don't
load
even
of
have a
agreement.
player transfer agreement with Russia right now, do they?
Well, I was gonna say they do have some agreements as far as the players go, but I don't know the details of that. But so you guys don't think that the NHL should have just got in front of it? Gary Bettman shouldn't have got in front of it?
I think he did. I don't think he had. You're slagging him for not being first. I think taking the secondary approach in this was fine. Those leagues those organizations that have frontline dealings with Russia were certainly the ones that had to act fast and act decisively.
Well,
and
I mean, look at I'm giving FIFA just as much flack as I'm giving Gary Bettman, because three teams had to come out and say, yeah, we're not playing Russia before, you got pictures of those guys of rubbing elbows or whatever.
I think FIFA was trying to move the games, outside of Russia and say, we're going to play here.
Yeah, right.
We'll play in Paris. We're gonna make. Although they moved the UEFA Cup away from wherever they play in St. Petersburg or whatever, they moved it to Paris. Yeah. But I think they play those other games in a neutral site, and then the teams from Poland and Czech and Norway or Sweden came out and said, we're not playing them at all. So and then FIFA came out and and kind of banned them. So it's a tough call, Guy. I mean, with the NHL and Bettman, I'm not sure what he could do or say. He did come out, like Brian said, he did come out and they did put out a statement. What more can they do? I don't know.
I guess. I mean, you look at the IOC. The IOC finally, they've banned Russia from the Paralympics, but I'm not convinced.
Oh, did that happen too? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Belarus can still continue to participate. They did withdraw the Olympic order from everyone who had an important function, apparently, in the Russian government. I don't know what else they did, if it's gone any further, but I guess we'll see. But Clark, you said earlier, you're like, yeah, well, when it's, if it blows over or if they win, then maybe this stuff. I'm thinking, oh man, either way, they just shouldn't. Like, they should look at this and go, this can't be a 1-year thing. This has to have some longevity, I guess. But that's just my opinion.
But that's, I guess that's what I'm saying with like the Olympics, with the NHL, with organizations that don't have immediate dealings in Russia. There is time to see how this goes, and that, to a certain extent, sucks. I mean, because this is bad. I mean, capital B bad. Don't I am not trying to say otherwise, but as an organization that can't immediately impact that, the NHL, the IOC, most of the sport groups have the option of sitting back and seeing what happens and then levying a proper punishment response, however you want to put it.
Some fans online are saying, well, you know what? Suspend the Russian players, except for Panarin, because he spoke out. Suspend the Russian players. I don't know if I agree with that, but I mean, they didn't.
What good does that do?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I read, right? Like, so, yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. We're not going to solve it or agree, and we may never agree on all of it.
And sport isn't going to solve it. Vladimir Putin is not going to say, "Oh well, wow, we got kicked out of the Olympics. Better pull back."
Right. No, it's a shaming. It's a complete shaming, is what it is. That and
you have to be shamed for it to be a shaming. He doesn't care.
He lost his black belt in karate or judo or something today too.
On the other side, Putin has used sports to his advantage.
He has,
for marketing purposes and to say how strong the country is, and so he's used that as his advantage. So, I talked about it the other night too, Guy, and it's like, this isn't. I don't think it's a Russian people's war. This is a Putin war, and has nothing to do with the people. It's I don't know. Somehow it's got to be stopped. I don't know what the answer is, but somehow You know, they've got to stop him of what he's doing.
Roland, you make a good point there, because I think with all of these banishments of Russian teams and that, and so the Russian population is going to go without watching international hockey. They're going to go out without seeing their figure skaters who absolutely dominate the sport for the last few years. They're going to not see them compete against the world. They're going to see their soccer team not compete. Like, it's going to be the Russian people. You know, it would be the same if no comparison with respect to you know, the war and everything that's going on, but it would be like if Canadians weren't able to see us play hockey or whatever. Like, they're going to go without, right? And we talk about it hurting Putin, and I think you're right. I don't think it's not him that's going to be the one that suffers. It's going to be
but maybe the athletes put pressure. I maybe he doesn't care about the athletes, but I'm going, maybe you know, all that added pressure, it's not going to change it. But I guess there's hope, right? There's hope that all these different pressures are pressure this guy into doing something different, because we can't explain what he's doing and what's going on. You know?
Outside of sport, the most promising thing, a couple of things that I've, just on this topic, that are the most encouraging to see was and you talk about someone with courage and speaking out. The Ukrainian president, the guy sitting there and saying to the United States, "Hey, I don't need a ride. I need help," right? Because they offered to get him out and pull him out of the country. There's a guy. You want to talk about the most courageous guy? For me, in 2022, he's the front runner, bar none, as the most courageous human being in the world.
I'm gonna let's stop it there. I think that's a good place to leave it. Is that is a courageous human being, and he is an inspiration, I think, in a lot of ways to a lot of folks.
The other thing too,
sports or other sports.
Wait, just the last one to finish on it is that to see so many Russian people, Russian citizens protesting. Where you would never see that before, and understanding the risk that they face in doing that, in protesting their government and in saying that we don't want this war, we don't believe in it. They're equally courageous, and you got to give props to that. But with all that, with the tension and with those people and all the financial pressures and the sport pressures, this thing can turn around. We just
let's hope. Here's another thing. Here's another thing that I don't know if it's going to turn around. And I wanted to talk about this for a few minutes. If you guys could see the screen there, that's the ref from last night's game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Washington Capitals. That look of dismay that he has to go ahead and announce a goal that was really a goal that turned out to not be a goal. That was his first look, thinking, oh my God, I gotta announce this. That was a goal. It was a goal. For the first time, I'm actually agreeing with the ref. He thinks it's a goal. If you look at his face, look at the second picture. You look at that and you go, he's thinking it's a goal. I can't believe I gotta say this, right? So what happened last night is,
if he's saying he can't believe he has to say it, it's that he can't believe he has to explain this rule yet again.
No, I think that's so it's 1-0 Toronto. It's around the 14-minute mark, I think, of the first period. The Capitals put the puck in the net. Austin Matthews reaches with his stick, and he says, they call it a no goal.
That's a pretty big stretch, saying the Capitals put the puck in the net. The puck never even came close to the net.
So this is the overhead. I'm showing an overhead view of the puck. And what you actually
half of it is still on the goal line.
If you look at the goal line and you recognize that the goal line is just as blurry as the stick and the glove, then you go, yeah, I can see where that red line kind of extends in that first photo, and the photos are online. I can kind of see where it is. And in this picture, you think it might be touching the red. It might be touching the goal line. It might be touching the red in the goal line. But when you look at it from the other view and you kind of go, you know what? Nah, I think it's okay. Here's another view of it.
It's still not all the way across.
It is.
Yeah,
It
the,
is
the
completely.
view where the round object is still on the line.
It is
or
not
still,
on the.
you're okay. You know what? You're right. That is not on the line. It is not broken the plane either, because it's round and therefore only a small part of it could be on the surface of the ice anyway.
Roland, is that over the Roland? Is that over the line or not over the line?
I can't tell.
Come on. You guys have scared him into
When
I think you're on an island on this one, Guido.
when I saw the game live, when I saw it happen live, I thought it was a goal. I thought, wow, that's in the net. And then it's kind of like, I don't know about that. And I don't know. It doesn't look like it's totally over.
I think you should put them back on, Guido, and then maybe you'll see that it's a goal.
I'm still wearing them. But apparently everybody else tonight.
You know what? I gotta say one thing. Basically, what you're stating, Guido, is that there's a conspiracy theory with the goal judges in Toronto to call back goals. And I didn't think you were a conspiracy theorist.
Can I bring up another one? The other night,
we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Go ahead.
I'll be quick. The other night I was watching the game, and maybe you guys saw this as well. The Leafs were playing Columbus. Puck is they're bringing the puck in. Puck pops up in the air. Leaf player high sticks it. It was clearly over his head. Refs didn't call it. Puck comes down to Jason Spezza, kicks it into the net. And didn't touch his stick. He kicked it into the net, and I thought, that can't be a goal. It's not a goal. You missed the high stick. He kicked it in. Video review, good goal. And I thought, no way. And it's not just because it's the Leafs, because that's all we get to watch here anyway, right? It's either we get Toronto. I don't get any other games, or once in a while the Wings games. But I'm going, how can that be a goal? It just didn't make sense.
And you know what, Rolly? Right there, and it's what I always keep saying. It's the inconsistencies. It's the inconsistencies, because you've seen that play. You've seen that puck in that same spot with some other teams. It's a goal.
No.
Last night, it's not a goal. It just so happens it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. But you got to admit, like if you look back, and again, I didn't write down all the events here for me to go through. But if I do that, and I just might, because you always poke the bear on this one, Brian. But I'm gonna have a look at those. There are an incredible number of calls that have come from the Toronto office when it comes to certain teams. It's hard to, go ahead, roll.
Well, even the announcers, you know how the announcers go back and forth, right? And I can't see that counting. There's a clear kicking motion. I cannot see that counting. And then they were kind of, then they had to walk it back too and said, well, their thing was, well, the NHL wants more goals. And I'm going, well, that doesn't make sense.
Inconsistencies.
Is that one on Roland? Is that one online, the Spezza goal? I'll take a look at it, because I'll be honest, I didn't see that game.
That one.
Well, but you can pick the Spezza one, but there's probably 10 other ones you could pick too, Roll.
Yeah, I know,
that's all I'm saying.
Get me to agree with the one tonight.
That's okay. I just think in that scenario, it would have been a 1-1 game. The game would have been different. I think a league who's looking for goals and wants to try to convince me that a paper thin thing might be the difference. I don't buy it.
So,
it was a goal.
You've been going on about wanting consistent, accurate calls, but now you're saying you'd rather they get this one wrong because they got one wrong.
No, I'm saying I think,
and also more goals are better.
Not at all. I'm thinking they should get it right, and it was a goal. It's over the line.
I think, Guido, what you're not recognizing, you got 3 guys on this call that disagree with you.
That's okay. So, there's 2 guys, one guy who's not sure. But that doesn't mean that you guys are right or that I'm right. It just means we disagree on.
So at the end of the day, in the goal in the video replay, there have been certain calls where you look at something and you go, you know what, it's cut and dry. And if I haven't seen the Spezza one, but Roland, if it is as you're saying, and it's a kicking motion and a high stick and all that, it'll be cut and dry if I get to.
What's the difference? It's still interpretive. You might
With-
look at it and go, it's
this one-
Yeah.
not the type of kicking motion you would make.
No, but with this one, what you're trying to say, you're trying to go a half a centimeter to the left, and Roland and we're saying no, it's a half a centimeter to the right.
I'm saying you're looking at that picture, and you're trying to convince that the blur in it is part of
I have
the red
nothing
line.
to do with the
If
blur.
I eliminate the blur, if I take out my program and I eliminate
If
the
you
blur,
Photoshop it, yes, it looks
no,
different.
but
I did
you-
the same.
do
Wait a
you not
second.
see? Are you telling me you don't see the blur in that picture?
Put the picture up again.
No, honestly, yeah. Just a question. You didn't see the blur in the picture, the red line and the glove and the stick.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I see the solid part of the red line up above the blur. And if I draw a straight line from the bottom of the post to where the red line is solid, I intersect the puck. It can't be across.
wait, let me use my liquid paper so I can draw a line on the. Come on, guys. Like,
Do it. I
Oh,
challenge
God.
you to do it.
I'm done. That's
I
it.
challenge you to do it.
I'm done.
You're wrong on this one.
I can't convince a Toronto Maple Leaf fan that it's a goal. I get it. That's
I'm
fine.
wearing a Rangers
problem.
suit tonight.
But
Not a
I'm a
problem.
Wings fan, and I'm not supposed to like the Leafs either, and I still think that's a goal. Or not a goal. But I still think the right call was made.
I'm gonna lobby the DFHL sim league
Hey.
when I need to there, Clark. Guys, we
I'll
gotta
let
wrap
you
it because we got that's it. We gotta wrap it up. But it was fun. We're gonna be talking more, and let's just pray for Ukraine, sports or no sports, and for the
Absolutely.
people there. It's heartbreaking and heart wrenching, and yeah, our thoughts go out to them.
Amen.
That's Brian, Clark, Roland, and Guido. Take care, guys.
Take care.